Everyone admired Daniel Carter. At 32, he had everything people dreamed of: power, money, respect. He was the youngest CEO the company had ever seen, but success had changed him. Somewhere along the way, he forgot something important: how to treat people. Every morning, Daniel walked through the office like he owned the world. Employees greeted him, he barely nodded. To him, efficiency mattered more than people, especially people like the old janitor. The man looked almost 70. Gray hair, slow steps, quiet voice. Invisible, at least. That's how Daniel saw him. One morning, Daniel stopped. He looked at the floor, still slightly wet, and said coldly, "This should have been finished already." The old man answered softly, "I'm sorry, sir. I will finish right away." Daniel crossed his arms. "This company needs people who can keep up. Maybe this job is too much for you." The old man simply nodded. No excuses, no anger, just dignity. Somehow, that bothered Daniel even more. But that wasn't what Daniel would remember later. What stayed with him was something much stranger. Daniel started noticing small things. The janitor always stayed late, long after everyone went home. One night, Daniel returned to get his laptop. The building was almost dark except one light at the end of the hallway. He walked closer, quietly, and he saw something unexpected. The janitor wasn't cleaning. He was repairing a broken office chair, carefully tightening every screw. Daniel asked, "Why not call maintenance?" The old man smiled gently. "Because saving money is also helping the company." Daniel didn't answer, but it stayed in his mind. Days later, he saw the janitor helping a nervous new intern, showing her where everything was, encouraging her, making her feel welcome. No one asked him to do that. He just did. But Daniel still didn't understand. Soon, he would make the biggest mistake of his career. A complaint arrived. "Why keep older staff? We need younger workers." Daniel agreed immediately. Numbers made sense. Emotions didn't. The next morning, he called the janitor into his office. "I think it's time you retire. You've done enough." The old man looked at him calmly. "Do you believe this company only exists to make money?" Daniel answered instantly. "Of course." The old man nodded slowly. "I hope one day you understand something more important." Daniel didn't ask what he meant. He just signed the paper. 3 days later, Daniel was called into a board meeting, and that's when everything changed. When Daniel entered, everyone was standing, but not for him, for someone behind him. He turned around and felt his stomach drop. The chairman spoke. "Daniel, this is Mr. Howard, the founder of this company." Silence filled the room. Daniel couldn't move. The chairman continued. "Every year he comes back to see what kind of leaders we become and how we treat people who cannot benefit us." Daniel felt his chest tighten. Every memory came back, every cold word he had said. Daniel finally whispered, "I didn't know." Mr. Howard smiled kindly. "That was the test. Success shows how high you rise, but character shows how you treat those below you." For the first time in years, Daniel had no words. The next day, Daniel searched for him, not as CEO, just as a man. He finally said, "I'm sorry." Mr. Howard nodded, not as an employee, but as someone who had already forgiven him. Because sometimes, life teaches us humility through the people we underestimate. How many people do we ignore because they seem unimportant? And how many lessons do we learn too late? Character is seen in how we treat others. Even small actions leave big impressions. I judged too quickly. I was wrong. I need to make amends, starting today. Thank you for forgiving me. Life teaches us humility through those we underestimate. Even the smallest kindness or patience matters more than we know. Every person we meet shapes our story in some way. And sometimes, the greatest lessons come from those we underestimate. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Phantanmation. The next story might change how you see someone forever.